People either survive in the jungle or exist in the zoo. Few recognize the significance of the paradoxical reconciliation of the two.
So, what is meant by the paradoxical reconciliation of the two, and what can we learn from this harsh statement from the new series by Guy Ritchie, The Gentleman? This has been on my mind, and I'd like to share my thoughts with you, also with regards to entrepreneurship, freelancing, and traditional employment. Welcome to Alethic, the powerful path of truth, self awareness, and harmony. All right. According to this quote, we can choose to either survive in the jungle or merrily exist in the zoo. These two extreme opposites reflect the second rule of life, which is polarity. Everything in our world exists in opposites. So we have the jungle representing a natural but wild, harsh, and uncertain environment where one must assert themselves and learn to survive. This includes not only the gangster's life, but also entrepreneurship and freelancing. And on the other hand, we have the zoo, a human-made, safe and controlled world where one doesn't have to fight for survival, but pays the price of freedom. One can only move within the confines of employment and gets limited breaks like vacation. However, both lifestyles have their advantages and disadvantages, which we'll explore shortly. The significance of the paradoxical reconciliation of the two, recognized by only a few, is also the secret to the second rule of life, as I have come to understand. The second rule, the law of polarity, states that everything exists in opposites, like light and shadow, hot and cold, good and bad, solution and problem. The secret of this rule is that it's not either light or shadow, not either the problem or the solution, not either good or bad that exists, but that both opposites are two sides of the same coin. This means that both polarities always have something to do with each other. For example, the solution always lies within the problem. There is no shadow without light, and there is no zoo without animals from the jungle or from freedom. So the paradoxical reconciliation is that people who build zoos need animals from the jungle. Some animals also feel comfortable in the zoo, especially if they can cope with captivity because they no longer have to hunt for themselves. These animals forget how to hunt or never learned it if they already grew up in a zoo. However, other animals wither away in a cage, and they can only be kept alive by throwing them live prey to stimulate freedom. While this may sound metaphorical, there is a deep meaning behind it that will help you find your life path. You will understand it better as we explore the advantages and disadvantages of the jungle and the zoo, what we do right now. So the advantage of the jungle is self-determination and freedom, as well as the power gained from learning to survive. In our modern society, survival means more the ability to make money, not in terms of a monthly salary like an employee, but the ability to recognize or create demand in the market and then meet the demand by selling. This is what makes a person an entrepreneur. This ability not only provides freedom, but also power over others, namely those who cannot survive on their own. However, the disadvantage of the jungle is uncertainty, as long as one isn't good at survival or making money. There's also the risk of being preyed upon by a stronger entity. For example, if a competing company takes away market shares until we can no longer survive, we must fight to stay alive. Thus, the jungle requires a certain level of aggression. And this doesn't have to be negative, as seen with the gangsters in The Gentleman or ruthless capitalists. Aggression is an important part of us, and we can live it out productively. In fact, we must live it out productively. If we live it out counterproductively, directing aggression towards others, it backfires on us. We might have a luxurious life in material abundance, but we constantly engage in internal and external conflicts that poisons our peace and harm our health and joy. And if we don't express aggression at all, it turns inward against us, leading to physical and mental problems. So the primary task of the jungle is to learn how to survive, meaning making money by recognizing or creating demand, and secondly, channeling the necessary aggression in a way that's healthy for us and our surroundings. And this is particularly important considering the exploitation of nature and people that we currently see excessively. Now let's look at the zoo. The advantage of an employee position is security. The bars keep everything that wants to eat us away. The zookeepers also regularly provide us with food, water, and medical care with correspondence to the monthly payment and fixed salary we always receive. However, the disadvantage of the zoo is captivity. There is only a few weeks of freedom in the form of vacations. Otherwise, we can just move within the bars. The primary task of the zoo is to cope with the bars. And some people naturally fare better because they prefer security over freedom. Others wither away in a cage because freedom is a basic need for them. So these people should rather be self-employed or entrepreneurial. If one desires both security and freedom, a conflict arises because security is found in the zoo and freedom is in the jungle. And so these people must learn to survive in the jungle and build there a functioning system that provides a certain level of security. What could that be? For example, well, if we stick to our metaphor, it would be to build a zoo. Yes, and that's precisely the paradoxical reconciliation of the two meant in this quote by the gentleman. A zoo is built by humans so they can survive in the jungle. Entrepreneurs need employees, and employees who haven't learned to survive on their own need entrepreneurs. So those who want security are well off with an employee position. Those who want freedom can experience some freedom in freelancing or as entrepreneurs. And those who want both security and freedom, they must build a zoo. So they need to build a large company, for example. Here, we must have the courage and ability to provide people with monthly security so these people can provide us with security and freedom. Does this make sense? People either survive in the jungle or merely exist in the zoo. I believe we now understand the significance of the paradoxical reconciliation of these two. What do you think about my thoughts? Write them in the comments below. I'm Mate, and I'm engaged in the art of living called Alethic, the powerful path of truth, self-awareness, and harmony. And if you want to follow your own path and unleash your personal life force, you're in the right place. With a subscription and activating the bell, you'll receive exciting insights, motivation, and inspiration. And all that's left to say is cheers and see you next time.